All right, football fans, here we are, match week number 20 in, and we're on to another episode here Between the Posts. I'm Jason Mattis. He's Matt. How's it going there, Matt?
It's going well. Yeah, we're here on a Wednesday, just kind of trying to attack this slate a little earlier than normal. And yeah, I appreciate you letting me come on a little early. I'm heading out on Thursday for Alabama with some friends to go play some golf. So I'm excited about that.
Nice. I figured you were going off somewhere, and that's why you wanted to bump it up a day. So good. Glad you're getting out, and hope the clubs treat you well over the next few days.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah, I'm not playing it from the backs, but one of the courses can stretch all the way out to 8,200. So it's like the longest one in the country. That would be too much. That would be brutal, Jason.
Well, I know you're a good golfer, so make sure you take your friends' money as well. Don't let them go.
I'll do my best. Yeah, we've already got kind of like a 2v2 game set up. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Nice. Love it. All right. Let's, of course, just kind of generally recap match week number 27, and then let's jump into this match week 28. Match week 27 for me, it was, up and down. Of course, I won under 2.5 goals in Palace versus Burnley. Been cashing that bet on a pretty much regular. Cash Norwich team total under 0.5. They continue to struggle to find the back of the net. I was tripped up on Brentford Newcastle over 2.5. That was a good bet. Can't do anything about a fourth-minute red card, and obviously, once Newcastle gets up 2-0, they only had 2 shots the entire second half. There was just no desire for anybody to do anything, and Brentford being down a man couldn't do anything. But the one thing I did get, who followed me on Twitter, correct score, 1-0 West Ham. I tweeted that out Sunday morning, 1-0. We talked about that here on That Was Going to Hit. That was a plus 500 banger, so that really turned around my weekend. So how did match week 27 go for you, Matt?
Great, because like what we talked about, Jason, with that West Ham Wolves match, cashed out on that one, felt great about it because, Wolves were that was an unfortunate fixture, scheduling for them. That hampered them in a major way and really gave edge to West Ham. They were all over them in the first half. They couldn't find it, and then they make the breakthrough early on in the second half. Exactly, really what we talked about on the show. So I went 2-1. Another banker came in. The bankers have been really hot this year. Southampton money line and under 4.5. That was a coasting really against Norwich, and then your Norwich team total came in at a plus price, and then Tottenham. I think that Leeds are just in a really weird way right now, and I mean with Marcelo Bielsa leaving the post. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the American Jesse Marsch. I hope that he can, kind of do us Americans proud, stay up this year, and really give Leeds a good opportunity to try to, be a mid-table or better side next season.
All right. Yep. Now, good stuff right there. And 2-1, put money in your pocket last week. Can't complain with that. Let's remind everybody we've got the comment section open. We've also got that like button, so hit that like button as you go ahead and enjoy this content. We do have Chris with us. He's apparently a Spurs fan. Make sure you hang with us here, Chris, because Matt has an official bet on that Spurs versus Everton game. So hang with us here, Chris. Good luck to those Spurs. What was it? Sorry, Chris. Unfortunate bowing out there yesterday there in that FA Cup to Middlesbrough. But hey, they took out my Manchester United, Chris, so I'm there with you in pain, my man. I'm with you. Let's let Matt go ahead and kick it off. It's Leicester. It's Leeds. What's going to happen here, Matt?
Yeah, so, like I just mentioned, the new manager for Leeds United. They have to travel on the road to the King Power and play Leicester, who had a nice scrappy W yesterday against Burnley. I was very close to pulling the trigger on Burnley yesterday. Very happy that I just decided to leave it alone. That was definitely kind of a trappy, Burnley are really in form play. And glad I avoided that one. But I love Jesse Marsch. I think that he will do good things for this squad. I think that he was really unfortunate with when he took over for Leipzig. When he took over for Leipzig, they had just sold their 2 best center halves. One of them, Konate, to Liverpool, and the other, Upamecano, to Bayern. And so, he was going to struggle. Any manager that goes in, and they're 2 world-class center halves, and they both leave for nice amounts of money. And so he struggled and he didn't make it, long enough. So now he's really kind of on his first revenge tour to prove that he is a fantastic manager. And I really urge anyone that's watching the video to go and watch the Jesse Marsch halftime speech against Liverpool in the Champions League when he was the manager for Salzburg. It was incredible. They were down 3-0 at halftime. He has a speech. Next thing you know, 20 minutes into the second half, the match is tied 3-3. They end up losing 4-3 in a wild one. But, he was just speaking in like 3 different languages. He's very intelligent and just talked about fight and will. And he's a guy that I think that any player could get behind in terms of, really playing for that manager. As we know, Bielsa is a tactician, but his tenure as places that he's been, they don't generally last that long, and that's kind of what happened here. The injury bug has caught up to Leeds, and this is going to be a tough first match for Jesse Marsch. I mean, the injury bug is still here. They don't have key center half. Calvin Phillips is the engine that makes this team go, and he's not here. So for me, it's looking at Leicester. I hope that the new managerial bounce doesn't happen just yet. I think that it should be a work in progress. Look at Leeds. They've allowed 1+ goal in the last 13 matches. They've allowed 2+ goals in their last 7 on the road. That is a recipe for disaster. So basically what I'm doing, I'm taking the banker money that I won last week with Tottenham against Leeds, and I'm using that same amount of money here. I'm going banker Leicester City to continue to add on. Leicester have scored 1+ in their last 9 at home at the King Power. So a solid home team that's starting to figure out some things defensively, and just against a Leeds team that their defense is in shambles. It's the worst of any team really in this league all season. And it'll take a lot for Jesse Marsch to pick up the pieces here and a quick turnaround at the King Power.
You're talking about a Leeds team that in their last 5 league matches are conceding 2.6 goals before halftime. I'm wondering if you take your bet and just throw an over 1.5 on it to get it at plus money. I know you're paying a little bit of juice just through the money line, but I can't envision this game not having more than 1 goal. I mean, that's just how bad leaky has been. You get Jamie Vardy now back into the squad. He's now returned back to full fitness there for Leicester. So everything you said has been accurate. I don't think it's a little too soon to get the manager bump. I don't even think Marsch has arrived until Monday night. So I can't imagine much of a managerial bounce at this point. So yeah, everything screams to Leicester. I like everything you've said. I was just maybe throwing over 1.5 goals on it. I just can't imagine I can't imagine Leicester winning 1-0. Too much offensive firepower, and Leicester's been way too goddamn leaky to only concede 1 goal. So everything you said, but over 1.5 for me. Now go ahead and like that.
Couldn't agree more, really. I wanted to do that too, and then I just was thinking, maybe there's something that Leeds will try and just change from the Bielsa, and
right.
So I think that it's highly doubtful that this is a tight and cagey match. I totally agree. I think, if you want to go get the plus price, that's the best way in.
Before we turn our attention off to Leeds, we talked about last week maybe who was going to get relegated. At FanDuel, you can get Leeds to get relegated at plus 195. So we've put $100 on this between Matt and I. We'll do a free giveaway. You got to comment on the after show, because if you comment here during the live show, I can't go back and watch it. So comment on this video after the fact, and we'll draw 1 name out of the hat on next week's show. And you'll be sitting there rooting against Leeds for the rest of the season, because if Leeds goes down, you'll take home $195. So comment at the end of this video, and you'll be rooting for Leeds to be relegated, as if they do that, you'll pull down $195. All right, let's keep moving now. Let's go to Aston Villa versus Southampton. I think this could be a little intriguing matchup. You get Southampton on a nice little bounce-back win next week. We know how Southampton has just been really, really tough. Can't wait to watch their game later this afternoon in the FA Cup against West Ham. I think that is about 2 evenly matched clubs, at least in this current setting with West Ham and Southampton, how they've been playing. So look forward to this matchup, though, against Villa. I think Southampton's just going to be too tough for them overall. But does that mean that they can get a win like on the road at Villa? I don't know, where they've played Chelsea tough, where they've played Manchester City tough at Villa under Gerrard. So I didn't have a strong, real just kind of feeling. This was one game that I didn't have my money on. I've got other games where I've got my money on. Did you find a bet in the Villa versus Southampton game that you liked?
I didn't. I think that it's a very intriguing matchup for sure. I think that, it's 2 teams that can really have a go at it. I mean, I don't think that Southampton are going to get into the European places. And I think that Villa, they had a nice quality win last week against Brighton on the road. I thought that was fantastic. This is a tricky one. I think that maybe the best way in here would be like a both teams to score. It's priced, I think it's priced correctly though. Minus 150 is about where I would have this one, and that is exactly where it is. So it's a little juicy, but to me, Jason, it makes the most sense. I mean, two teams, they're not getting relegated. They're not going to European places. Like, let's go out and have some fun, like have some free-flowing offensive football. And I mean, like, look, Villa's conceded to Watford. They conceded to Newcastle. Southampton are the ones that have really been, doing well, but they conceded twice to Spurs. And, I put Villa really in the same regard as someone like a Spurs right now. That would be the best way in for me. I also look at the draw. Makes a ton of sense here. But yeah, I think that the best way in, if I were to play this one, it would be both teams to score yes at minus 150.
All right, moving right along now between Chelsea and Burnley at the Turf Moor Stadium this weekend. We've kind of talked about Burnley. I don't really know what you need to say to this bet other than really give the bets, right? These are two teams we bet so heavily. I feel like we know it, our audience knows it. So, are you on Chelsea clean sheet or under 2.5? I mean, to me, that's really the only determination. Burnley's not going to get blown out, so I think under 2.5 is safe. I thought a little bit safer was just to go Chelsea clean sheet. I just can't see Burnley punishing Chelsea at all. I'm not worried about any rotation. I know they played 120 minutes on Sunday. I know they got FA. I'm just not worried. I'm really not worried about Burnley punishing Chelsea. So, of the two, I went Chelsea clean sheet at minus 106.
I think the best way in is just under 2.5. I just that's my play for this one. I mean, look at it's really all you have to do is just look at Burnley's matches. I mean, they had
I know.
Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. So 7 of the last 8 have been under 2.5, with the one outlier being they put up 3 on the road against Brighton.
Brighton, right? Yeah.
Which is just a complete toss that one out of there. And then Chelsea, their offense isn't that great to me. I mean, it's nowhere near on the top 2, levels. Like it's a solid team. They're very compact. Like they're just slower in the final third than some of these other teams. And I just think that Burnley could hang. I think that a lot of people are gonna, look towards Chelsea on the money line here in some kind of parlay, or Chelsea in under 2.5 or under 3.5. I think that the best way in is just to say, I don't even really want Chelsea here. I just think that there's not going to be that goals, because I think that Burnley still always have the capability of shocking a big team, because they can hang around, keep it 0-0 for 60 minutes, hit something on the counterattack, get a corner, set piece, foul, and next thing you know, like the game just turns on its head. So for me, under 2.5, I thought that I got a pretty good price on this, like around minus 115. Like I think that this should be like minus 140, Jason, like it was last week.
Yeah, I think one of the best things you said in that little thing right there was don't try and take the money line against any Burnley opponent. They're going to just keep it so damn low scoring for so long and try and do a smash and grab at the end. Like, don't try and pick a winner in a Burnley fixture. They would have screwed you against Tottenham, obviously, and they almost would have screwed you yesterday against Leicester. They almost had a 0-0 draw, another perfect Sean Dice. We're just clawing 1 point at a time. So if you know what you're getting, a defensive effort to just get 1 point, like, why pick a winner? Just either say Burnley's not going to score or the whole damn game's going to go over 2.5 and live with the result.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it goes over 2.5, so be it.
So be it.
But that's the best way in to me, is the unders.
Yeah, I agree, and I agree with Thomas right there as well. All right, let's keep moving it along. Thanks for the comment. Newcastle versus Brighton. This one's tough for me, and I think the margin part is kind of what you talk about, is with Brighton and just how they're crappy finishing. It's like, can they get a goal? I mean, they'll give themselves enough chances, but will they be clinical in those moments to finish it? I don't know. So if they can't contribute to any amount of goals, well, what will Newcastle be able to do? Because I actually like Brighton's defense. I think it is really sound. And then you're going up against a Newcastle team that's not all that great. They took a while to get their goals up against a 10-man Brentford team, but then once they get them, okay, then they backed off. And the whole second half, I don't think you can read really too much into that performance at all. So kind of a tough game to come off of, given it was against 10 men, and that's when the 2 goals came, was against those 10 men. So another game where I'm just kind of not interested in betting it, so I won't bet it.
Yeah, I'm not very interested in betting it either. I mean, Newcastle are in pretty damn good form, unbeaten in their last 7 matches in the Premier League. But then they come on the flip side here, and Brighton have secretly owned Newcastle, Jason, over the last few years, really, about 4 years now. I mean, they're unbeaten against Newcastle in their last 9. But they're in this really bad stretch right now. I mean, they've only won 1 match in their last 24.
I know.
Right.
I know.
So I don't want to back either of these sides to win. I think that the draw is a huge opportunity here, probably. I think that you're going to get a really good look for a draw here. Unders. This probably stays under the number. I don't like betting Newcastle unders, but their last 3 matches have all gone unders. And as we know, Brighton, sometimes, they struggle to score. I don't want anything to do with this one. If I had to play it, though, it's going with a bigger price and draw and probably under.
Yep. Okay, cool. All right, let's go ahead and move it over to the next game, which is Norwich versus Brentford. I do have a bet in this game, and I am backing Norwich. What? Did he just say he's backing Norwich? All right, not quietly. I'm just backing both teams to score. This is a great spot to go ahead and back Norwich, right? This is a team that both of these teams were in the championship. This is a team that you talk about level playing field. Norwich every single week is completely outclassed, completely out quality, everything. Not this week. This is a week of a team that is on the same plan for it. Both teams have scored. Cast in the reverse fixture earlier this season. Norwich at home has to go for it. They're going to give up a goal in that process, and they're going to score a goal in that process. You can get both teams to score at minus 106. I thought that was an absolute steal. You're not going to find many opportunities where you can back Norwich in a favorable situation at home against a club that is on their level. Boy, I don't want to find a winner in this, but both teams will certainly find the back of the net. So at minus 106, love it. That's an official bet for me.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, really. I mean, when you look at the last 4 head-to-heads dating back into the championship, too, 3 out of the 4 have seen both teams to score, yes. And, 1-1s last season in the championship for both of them.
Keep in mind, by the way, too, Norwich is going against Liverpool. They're already complaining about it being scheduled. They want no part of today's match again. Relegation, a team at Brentford where they can at least feel like we have a chance, right? We don't have a chance every week. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I forgot about the FA Cup game today, though. They're just going to prioritize this weekend.
I think you're spot on. And they're 7 points back right now of Brentford. It's not impossible. I mean, there's still 12 matches left. It's not impossible. Like Norwich shouldn't be thinking that it's all done and dusted yet. I mean, they've got to give everything here. They will go for this one. I think you're spot on here. They've got to go all in. Brentford have been bad on the road, lost 5 away on the road. Their form has really dried up. And I think that Brentford are only a team that's even possible to back at home right now. Really, if you want a good look here, I think that, yes, your both teams to score, yes, is a good look. I would be towards the Norwich camp. I think that you're right. I think that they're going to bounce out today of the FA Cup because they have to go all in here on this league and with the last 12 matches, give everything that they possibly can and give them a fighting chance to stay in and make it competitive in this relegation battle. So I'd be looking towards Norwich, draw no bet at a plus price.
Yeah, I think this is a good spot. We bag on Norwich on a weekly basis, and rightfully so. But this is at least an opponent that it'll be an entertaining game. So yeah, find a way to back Norwich some capacity, and maybe both teams will score or a draw no bet will be a good look in that game. Moving right along, we got Wolves versus Crystal Palace. A little upsetting because both of the bets I won in this game, too much juice. I won it under 2.5, came in at minus 180. Maybe that's a good parlay piece for you. Also wanted Wolves draw no bet. That was, again, above my threshold of minus 150. So 2 bets that I liked. I can't bet them due to too much juice, but that's how I see this game going. Low scoring, but one that Wolves can certainly scrap out at home at the Molineux Stadium. So Yeah, I like everything about this Wolves team. Obviously, right now, predicted that they were going to struggle against West Ham. It was just a bad spot for them. This is a good spot for them to go ahead and bounce back at. A Palace team that struggled on the road. We know that they struggle on the road. Just look at the table, home and away. They're significantly worse at away. So it's unfortunate. I'll probably work in under 2.5 at a parlay piece. So just make sure you're following me on Twitter because under 2.5 will hit, and I just want that in a parlay.
Yeah, I think that it's such a tough match to call. I mean, when you look at the last five head-to-heads in all comps, they've all been win to nils by whoever won, and they've all gone under 2.5. Three of the wins have been by Wolves, and two of them have been by Palace, the most recent two by Palace. I think that Palace represent a tough team for Wolves because they can be so good on the counter attack. But like you mentioned, Palace struggle on the road. Wolves, their offense just isn't good enough to really want to back them week in and week out. They just don't create enough chances. I think that Podence is a fantastic player. I really do, but he's kind of the only one that I really love on their squad in terms of chance creation. So yeah, for me here, I think that this is none of the last five have resulted in a draw, but this one feels like a draw. Draw no bet Wolves would be a slight lean, but I just don't love it, like you mentioned, kind of at that price. And yeah, the unders is probably a decent parlay look, but yeah, there's not enough here. Nothing for me to really chomp at.
This is the complete opposite of last week, right? They played midweek. West Ham did nothing, and then they got rolled by West Ham because West Ham was just in a better fixture schedule-wise. Now you get the opposite, right? Crystal Palace played midweek in the FA Cup. Wolves sit around and did nothing, and now they're going to be the team with rested, had nothing to focus on but this game. So I love Wolves in this. It was unfortunate. It's too much juice. You said draw no bet. I also said draw no bet. I think those are good parlay pieces. Or if you don't mind juice, right? We all have different limits to our betting behavior. So if you don't mind the juice, yeah, jump on either one of those two winners. I think you'll be happy.
Maybe one way in, and this could be the best way in, Jason, is the first 45 minutes, first half, draw. I have this one is probably a 0-0 at halftime, and that's going to be right around even money. That could be one way in, but again, there's not a lot to love here.
Yep. Well, these next games, though, talk about some good fixtures coming up. The first one here is Liverpool, West Ham. Looking forward to this. Looking forward to seeing. I expect Liverpool to win, but I want to see how does West Ham perform. What's their performance like? Are they gonna, lose a 3-1 kind of game, or are they gonna hang with this and make this cagey, make it feisty, make it like we're actually going to be in this top four? Give Liverpool a run for their money at Anfield. Liverpool can certainly get the job done, but I want to see how much of a competition, how much of a fight West Ham is gonna have. That's going to be my focus. West Ham's going to be playing midweek. So is Liverpool. Liverpool will have the advantage of doing more rotation because they're going against Norwich, where West Ham's got Southampton. That's, two Premier League clubs, so they'll take that a little bit more serious, so less squad rotation. So, yeah, a lot of advantages in this game for Liverpool. I think Liverpool will certainly win. I think they're a nice parlay piece if you want to use them in a moneyline parlay. But I couldn't find a bet yet if it's juicy. I've admitted that I'm doing the show a day early, so I haven't gone through all the information as much as I normally would. So maybe I find the bet at some point, but initially things we're looking at were too juicy for me. But my main thing in this match is how competitive can West Ham be?
I agree with you. I think that finding an angle here on, the Asian lines or, both teams to score, like those kind of lines is very difficult. It just is, because I don't think that West Ham are clicking that well. I think that was a really quality win, though, last week. I think it has to be said, at home against a tough Wolves side. They're difficult to break down. And I thought that West Ham broke them down 5 or 6 times where they had some really nice openings, and now you're going to get a completely different style of game. You're going to be on your heels here. I think that this is the kind of match where like missing like an Ogbonna, who's out for the rest of the year, is pretty big. Like I don't think that Dawson and Zuma are good enough to hold on here at Anfield. That's kind of my gripe with this one. It's going to be tough. I think that West Ham will have their moments. I wouldn't be shocked if they scored. I wouldn't be shocked if Liverpool kept a clean sheet. It's one of those where I think that market is very 50-50. They have generally been able to score, though. I mean, when you look at this fixture, the last four in the Premier League, both teams to score, yes, has paid. And if you liked both teams to score and Liverpool to get the victory, that paid in 3 of 4. So um, that could be a good angle. I think that their offense is really good. And I think that Liverpool, I mean, they gave up a bunch of chances really to Chelsea in that
Yeah.
cup final. That was very fortunate. I mean, thankfully Mason Mount wasn't on, his P's and Q's that day really, or that would have been curtains, 2-0 type of Chelsea win. Now you get a red hot Bowen, who I don't think he'll miss those kind of chances. I,
That dude is
but
red
again,
hot.
he is, but I have to take it, and it's just maybe this is a little bit of the fan in me, but again, I think that Liverpool right now are in just such a good way mentally after winning the League Cup. I think that their form is really fantastic. I mean, they just keep winning games. So
Hmm.
I'm not going to complicate it here. They're going to be one of the first pieces of my parlay leg. They get the job done here against West Ham in a tough matchup. They might have to come back in this one. They might be down, but I think that they would come back. I think that any route, any kind of avenue in this game, however it plays out, I still think that Liverpool over the course of 90 minutes will show their class to be another level than West Ham.
I think you're spot on. You mentioned that Chelsea-Liverpool final there, and Mason Mount maybe not having as being clinical. I had a same game parlay, and one of my legs in the same game parlay was, will anybody hit the crossbar post? Obviously, he hit the post. So in that same game parlay, cash. So thank you, Mason Mount.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Mason Mount for. I just something about that. I was like, man, the finishing won't quite be there, and somebody's gonna hit a post.
Yeah, no, that's a beauty. And the final, I think that that's a really good one. And just for every final kind of bet.
What was my other leg in there? Under 2.5? Oh yeah, it was under 2.5. Exactly
Yeah,
what we
that
talked
was
about on the show. That was an easy winner.
I was at the bar with my buddy, and I was like, "Dude, this is a 0-0 or 1-1." He took both of those correct scores, and he had a huge day where he only put up
Nice.
80 to $100 and walked away with like $700 basically.
Nice. And you walked away with a buzz because he was just
he-
buying you beer after beer. Thank you, my man.
Oh,
Here's a
my-
beer. Here's a beer.
yeah.
Here's a beer.
Yeah, because even in the when it went to overtime, basically it was like, I don't think anyone's still going to score, so we bet that
I
again.
don't think
We just kept betting it and just kept enjoying the match. That was wild. What a wild
Love it.
match.
That was a good game. That was the best 0-0 game I've seen in a while. That was a good one. All right, let's move it on now to Watford versus Arsenal. How bad is Arsenal going to win here? What are they going to or is Roy Hodges going to keep it close because that's what he does? That's what you get here. Is he's going to keep it close for 70 minutes or I don't know. Yeah. It's a tough matchup for me.
That's kind of why I like my play here in terms of I have Arsenal and under 3.5, and the under 3.5 is taking a little bit of bet and belief in Roy Hodgson as well to keep it tight, to keep this match fairly close. I think they'll make it difficult for Arsenal to get the breakthrough, but Arsenal continue to come at you in waves. I think that they're in great form. I think that Arsenal and United are going to take this top four battle all the way. I think that they still have to play one another left. And I think that is at the Emirates. But then, I mean, when you look at here, Arsenal and Watford, it looks like, Arsenal have kind of secretly dominated this fixture. They've won. Some of these have not stayed under the 3.5. I think that was, the very open Watford days. Back in 2019 and 2020, there were 9 goals in the 2 matches in the league last year. So that was an issue, but there was a 1-0 this past year in the first head-to-head. And that's just how I see. I think it's going to be a fairly difficult road match. I mean, look at what Watford did recently with United, in a 0. So I'm not so much worried about the unders here. It's more about, can Arsenal make the breakthrough, do something that United couldn't last week. And right now, I think that Arsenal are just slightly in better form than United. And I think that their chance creation is better. And yeah, for me, I think that Arsenal will find a way here. It won't be easy, but they've scored 1+ goal in their last 14 games against Watford in all comps. Whoa. So if they've scored 14 in a row, that's one of those, it's dating back basically 7 years. and I think that that one's fairly valid. I think that one, they score against Watford. They like to play against Watford, and they do well here. And I think that this is a 1-0, 2-0, or maybe they concede and it's a 2-1, and it stays under the 3.5. And I'm getting that at plus 120, Arsenal and under 3.5.
Love how you pushed that to plus money. Good work right there. Let's move it around now to the Manchester Derby. It's obviously that means it's City versus United at the Etihad. Man, obviously everybody knows I'm a United fan. I try and always think. Last time I believed too much in United. This time I don't believe in United at all. I mean, look at the finishing we have in the final third right now with Manchester United. It is not there whatsoever. Wasn't there against Burnley. Obviously wasn't there against Watford most recently. Just is not there. City dominated the reverse fixture 2-0 at Old Trafford. I mean, dominated. United couldn't get the ball. I think they only ended with maybe one shot on target. May have only been zero shots on target. It was just an absolute masterclass by Pep Guardiola. I don't see why you can't have the exact same thing. City's done nothing but improve, and United's just in a terrible, terrible spot. Absolutely terrible. None of their finishers are coming in here with great form. Nobody's feeling confident. Nobody's feeling good at all. I think a clean sheet at plus money is well within range here. I wouldn't try and look at maybe a Manchester City win to nil, because you've seen 0-0s in this fixture. You've seen a lot of under 2.5s, so maybe you also like under 2.5. But I'm going for the plus money bet. City on the clean sheet. Dominate this fixture again.
Yeah, I like the unders here. I do think that this is going to be pretty tight. It's a derby. It's going to be cagey. There's going to be some good fouling going on. There could be some bookings in this one. That might be a decent look here. But there are two teams that generally don't get involved in that kind of action. Like City don't. You're not going to really see many yellows from City unless it's a tactical foul that the referee kind of deems as unfair. For United to catch something on the break. So again, this is similar to the West Ham Liverpool, where I just think that over the course of 90 minutes, I do think that City will, be able to grind them down and get the 3 points. I don't know exactly the way that it's going to go. I don't necessarily love City. I was looking them on the Asian handicap -1. Don't necessarily love that. This has been a fixture that's been very tough, and United have pulled off some pretty big upsets over the last few years in this one. And I think too, Jason's how many chances are United actually going to have here? That's the issue for me. And
under three.
Yeah, that's exactly. And but then you also look at too, United have scored, or both teams have scored in United's last 6 on the road. United they've been over the last 12 to 24 months a really strong away side, because I think it just plays into their counter-attacking mentality. And look at this too, Jason. I mean, United have scored 1+ goal in their last 21 away matches.
Yeah, you don't get many chances with City. You're going to get a couple, a few. And to say that team is going to finish one of the 3 when they're in terrible form, I can't see it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that it just, I don't have any feel for any of the other markets other than I just think that City, they're better. They're at home. The Etihad isn't that difficult of a place to go play. I think that United have
That's funny. Yeah, let me jump here. That's funny. My friend went to England, toured a couple stadiums, and one of the games he went to was at City. He's like, those fans suck. He's like, they don't even know they're at a soccer game. There's no emotion, there's no singing. Those fans suck.
Yeah, they do, and that's what gives United a fighting chance in this one. It's not some cauldron. This is a lot easier than going on the road to the Wanda in Madrid and playing Atleti. This is a lot easier than that in terms of just that type of feel. And look, I think that United can still kind of go into this one a little bit with nothing to lose, going into City. I don't know.
Big game though. Big game for their top 4, and obviously for a title race. Big game.
A huge game. I think I think slim margins. I think that City, if they win, then it'll be by 1 goal. I mean, I think that the draw I bet the draw has a lot of value here, but just not something that I'm willing to do. I'm going to go with, I think that the top 2 teams are on a different level than the rest of the 18 teams. So I'm going with with City and Liverpool to get the job done against two very solid opponents, though.
All right, so a money line parlay, and then we've only got one more game, and then we'll go ahead and reveal our official bets. The last game is Tottenham versus Everton. This is a fixture that we all remember. I actually gave this bet out whenever this reverse fixture was. I gave out under 2.5. I actually remember when it was. It was back in November. I gave out under 2.5, talked about how it was Conte's first game. It was going to be boring. I went to a wedding that weekend in Florida, met up with my buddy there, and he was like, hey, man, we had time to kill before the wedding. He's like, you got any money on this game? Told him I got under 2.5. Told him how much I loved it. Told him to bet under 1.5. So got him the better bet. And that game went 0-0. It was a snooze fest. Watched it. I actually think this is similar. And I don't really know how you get involved in this game in terms of goals. Everton's struggling. I think that's going to lead them to play a little bit more defensive. And what is Tottenham doing? Beating City, losing to Burnley, thumping Leeds. And you had a nice lineup against Middlesbrough last year. Like, you had Kane, you had Son, and you had the new cat out there that I don't quite know how to pronounce his name yet. That's
Kulusevski.
Yeah, that's their new attacking three. And they didn't do anything yesterday. There were 0 shots on target at halftime. Nothing happened in that game. And that was against a Championship League squad. So Tottenham's got way too much damn inconsistency if you're talking like a City performance and then you do that yesterday. I like under 2.5 again. Everything about this just seems like it's going to be an under 2.5 game. So you can get that at even money. So that'd be my lean right there, under 2.5. Everton's going to be scrappy. They're right there. They're better in terms of those other teams, but until they get there, I think they're going to play in a way that just kind of creeps them up. So under 2.5 for me.
Yeah, I would preface this with saying that this is probably my least confident pick of the week, because I've gone with, I think that Everton have what it takes in terms of their makeup up front with Richarlison, Gray. They're going to have a little bit more fun than what they just had against City.
Right.
And I like their front line. I think that Lewin might come back here. Those kind of players really could make a huge impact to me. And look on the flip side too. Everton have conceded 1 goal at least on the road in their last 12. So there's defensive issues. I would be shocked if Tottenham cannot score here. I know that Tottenham are in a really weird way. They are weird. Very weird. I mean, they are. Like, I'm kind of kicking myself yesterday for not betting Middlesbrough in the FA Cup, because I think that Tottenham are that team that against some of these smaller, lesser like sides like the Burnleys, those teams are going to compete with this Spurs side. They're not good enough yet to give 100% focus, in a sense. It's a mentality thing, really, against some of the lesser teams that are not as good as them. So for me here, I think that I believe in Lewin and Damari Gray and Richarlison to be able to create enough against Tottenham and score on the road here. And then I just think that Spurs, they put up 4 against Leeds. Like, that was nice. 3 against City, 2 against Southampton. I still believe in their offense enough. And in this fixture, 2 of the last 3 times, one of them was in the cup. But, we saw a 0-0 like you perfectly predicted the last time. And I do remember you on that one when Conte was his first match back in. But the last 2 times prior to that, there were 2-2s and a 4-4 in the cup. I mean, I just think that this one has the potential. If one of these early chances can go in, I think that this match is going to go bonkers. And so I'm going to back it at a plus price. Both teams to score over 2.5. I don't know who's going to win this match, but I just think that the front lines here are very quality compared to the defenses really in this one. And yeah, again, I think that it's my least confident pick, but I do still like it. I weirdly am predicting some goals here.
I was on that bet yesterday. It was screaming as no goals are happening all day long. All right, Matt, what are your going to be official bets this weekend in match week number 28?
Yep, taking the Spurs victory against Leeds last time out for 2 units, and I'm just putting that same stake on Leicester money line against Leeds. I've got Burnley at Chelsea, hoping for a snoozer and under 2.5 goals at minus 116. Thought that line should have been like minus 140, minus 150. Arsenal and under 3.5 goals at plus 120 on the road in London playing Watford. Everton, Spurs, both teams to score, and over 2.5 at a plus 120, plus 125. Make sure you shop around there. And Liverpool and Man City, money line parlay, minus 120. Top two teams in the league. Hoping the top two teams grab all 3 points.
Yeah, no reason why they can't keep collecting up points. I've only got 2 bets, and remind everybody, in case you joined this broadcast a little late, we obviously bumped it up and we did it one day early. Or Wednesday is my big research day, so I've got 2 bets, but 100% we'll be adding more bets on Thursday or Friday's daily show here on my YouTube channel. So just make sure you come back a little bit later on. But I've got 2 bets for you now. I am agreeing with Matt on that Burnley-Chelsea game is going to be low scoring. And Burnley's not going to score at all. So give me that Chelsea clean sheet at minus 106. And Norwich, Brentford. Folks, this is going to be a good game. Both teams will find the back of the net, and that's another minus 106 bet. So for now, just those 2 bets. But again, 100% we'll be adding 2 bets to it. All right, like it right there. Let's hit another banker. You were right. I'm pretty sure you're 3 for 4 on bankers this season. If I had to recall, you're 3 for 4. You've done great.
No, it's been great. The bankers have been great to me. It's been I'm in the positive. I'm in the green this season in the Premier League, so I feel good about it. It hasn't been I can't say that I'm up, 10 plus units, thing like that, but I've been grinding.
Just say it. Just say it. We have no fact checker here. Just say it. You're up 10 units.
Yeah, I'm up 10 units. But then I guess to leave it here too, Jason, I think that couple things, if you're wanting to get down on a bet here in a couple hours,
yes,
I think that I will 100% be on James Milner to score anytime if there is no Fabinho and Salah in the starting lineup, because he will be the person on penalties, and you're going to get something around 4-1. Okay. That will be, and the same thing goes for, let's say Milner's not in the lineup and Salah's not in the lineup and Fabinho is, then it's a Fabinho bet. So I'll be really paying attention to that. And I also think that it's a bet that you and I have talked about before with Liverpool in the Cup. It was actually against Norwich in the League Cup earlier. I believe it was, either early this year or late in 2021. But Minamino to score, Origi to score, like taking one of those, like, I think that Minamino, he's priced at around plus 150 to score. He is most likely starting this match. And I think that he's a really quality player that's going to get a couple chances. And I think that he can bury those. So those are just a couple little things to pay attention to, really, for me. And those. And so there could be a bet here coming up soon. Haven't locked in anything yet, but I think that there is some angles that could be really nice.
Yeah, I'm definitely waiting for the lineups. I'm going to add some things to it. I've only got the Liverpool team total over 2.5 right now. Again, I just think that's how Norwich's focus is going to be this week in the Premier League, and not concerned whatsoever with any squad rotation that Liverpool might do. But I'm with you. I'm definitely going to be adding some bets. I couldn't find a bet for Chelsea Luton Town. Everything was way too juicy, whatever I liked. And the only thing that's like that's not juicy is you taking a chance that Luton Town's going to score a goal when like both teams will score. And I'm not willing to say that somebody's going to score on Chelsea, even though they are at home. And you do see these lower club teams score at home in cup games. That's not something I'm willing to risk against a Chelsea team. So probably won't bet Chelsea, but I do have a Liverpool bet. And then I'm on corners. I'm on over corners in Southampton, West Ham, over 10.5 corners.
Okay. Yeah, I can't wait for these lineups to drop, really, because I think that Southampton and West Ham is a fascinating matchup, a team that is red hot right now in Southampton. If they throw out an A-plus lineup, and let's say West Ham, either does or maybe they throw out an A-minus lineup because they're looking towards Liverpool, whatever, I think that Southampton might be worthy of a bet here. Like it's I haven't even looked at the line, probably in the draw no bet kind of market. Is what you could find. Another one that I'm looking at too is Vlahovic for Juventus. He is going up against his former club today in Fiorentina. Let me find. That's just kind of an angle. That's a storyline that I want to get behind. And he's red hot. He scored 2 in his last match. He scored 1 in the Champions League. Vlahovic is the hottest prospect, not getting a ton of love on the market. He is getting some love, but he is a guy that he's only 22 years old. I think he's still one big move away in about 2, 3, 4 seasons. He'll be playing for someone like a Barcelona, Madrid, Bayern, one of those type of teams. He's already qualified for the World Cup for Serbia. And yeah, he's just a name that you really want to be paying attention to. And the fact that his number is plus 190 against his former side, It might be a low scoring match. It might not cash, but that is a storyline that I've got to get on, I think.
Is that a Coppa Italia or is that a Serie A game?
It's a Coppa Italia semifinal, which is, if it was a Serie A, I would like it a little bit more because, this is a semi. It's a big match. It's the first leg. It's probably going to be tighter than normal. But I watched all of Fiorentina's match last week against Sassuolo, and I thought Sassuolo carved them up many, many times. They ended up winning Sassuolo 2-1. It was an amazing match that I won a decent amount of money on. But I think that Juventus have all the capabilities of carving up a Fiorentina as well. It's on the road here. He's going back to his old place. Like, I don't know. I don't really necessarily want to get involved with Juventus, but I do want to get involved with the storyline. And I think, one, he's a class striker, top 10 right now in the world. So that checks one box. His price is nearly 2-1.
That's another box.
He's betting against his bet. He's betting, playing against his former club. So there's going to be some extra little spicy motivation, Jason.
All right. I like a couple extra little nuggets for you guys there as there's some soccer action in various games going on today. Love it right there. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Again, the bottom middle has both of our Twitter information. We're both anxious for these lineups to come out. Tweet out some additional bets today. And then me personally, I will certainly have some more bets for this weekend's game. So we'll go ahead and leave you guys for now. Tail these bets. Come look forward to having you guys cash with us. Matt, good luck this weekend swinging the clubs down in Alabama. And we'll see you back here for match week number 29.
Thanks, Jason.